Alright, hi guys. So I want to preface this by saying that to my knowledge, I don't have ADHD or anything like that. OCD, autism, anything like that, to my knowledge. I certainly have my suspicions, as I'm sure many people do, of themselves. That is not of me, although I'm sure there are actually some people that probably do have their suspicions about me. But anyway, I've not had any like formal diagnoses or anything like that, and I probably could do with at least trying, but I can't be bothered at this point. I've got too much other stuff going on. Like, for example, yesterday I had a very stressful day. The Airbnb that I had booked to share for Strathclyde, my next comp, which is in like a week and a half at this point, the host messaged me and they had to cancel because there was like a little flood in the thing or something. And so obviously, like, it was only a week and a half till till we're meant to be staying there. We had to like worry about like trying to get a refund, even though it said it was like non-refundable, but we had to like make sure that the host cancelled and we didn't cancel, because if we cancelled we wouldn't get a refund. We then had to make sure the host cancelled, and then how would we get the credit? Would we be able to find somewhere else at such short notice or whatever? It's finally getting somewhere. I was very sort of anxious for a while because I was like, I've not had to deal with that kind of thing before, and I didn't know if we'd be able to get the money back. And it was like 110 or something quid each for the two of us, and obviously that's a lot of money to not be able to get back for something that completely wasn't our fault. So I was a bit nervous for a while. Should be fine now. It's getting sorted. We've got the money and credit, and I've requested to book somewhere else, which looks promising, and it's like basically the same price. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. But yes, anyway, back to the point of this video. There are various excuses that I always find, like having a long stressful day like that, to just put off doing things. I am a very big procrastinator, and this is not limited to things I need to do. Obviously it was a big problem I had. I only really noticed it like towards the end of GCSEs onwards, although to be honest, before that, like any academic work I'd done, I found pretty easy. Like that's not saying that much, but yeah, like A levels particularly, and at university, I found like I would procrastinate a lot more. I also found that I just tended to get distracted more by started being online a lot more that point, doing other stuff like watching YouTube videos or whatever. And obviously that probably was part of it, but certainly for a lot of it I did find that I would get distracted by like nothing. I get distracted by myself, like my own brain just sort of wandering off. So yeah, various, like, I don't want to call them symptoms, but like various traits like that I've noticed, not necessarily like getting worse over the years, but certainly becoming more like pronounced. And obviously the main thing I noticed was in like academic work. I would like get distracted trying to do that, put that off, because obviously that was something I needed to do. But this isn't limited to that, it extends to stuff I want to do as well. Take case in point, pretty much everything I've ever done, honestly. A good example is like learning alg sets in cubing. It took me about 3 years to finish both OLL and PLL because I started them like ages ago, and I just got out of the habit of learning them. And like obviously I knew I needed to start learning them again, or like finish the sets, and like I wanted to, but I just didn't. I just kept putting it off and off and off. And the same thing happened with UZBLL. I was at like 4 out of the 6 sets for like 3 years, and I only finished it like a year ago. And just like practicing in general, to be honest, I think it's if things seem like they're like kind of a lot of effort, like just doing solves is like no effort, right? So in terms of that, if I just like pick up a cube and just do sighted solves or whatever, that's low effort. So that's not the kind of thing I put off. But things like multi, I've really been meaning to get back into multi recently, because I've got a lot of attempts coming up this summer. I've got 2 at my next comp, Strathclyde, in like a week and a half, and then I've got 3 at UKC, and they are all on the same day, so I haven't got many high hopes, but I do want to give myself the best possible chance. I have 3 memory palaces. One of them I haven't used for a proper attempt yet, but I want to practice that and get used to it to the point where I can feel comfortable using it in an official attempt, and also get comfortable doing potentially 3 attempts in a day. I've done 2 attempts in a day before. I've done 4 attempts across 2 days on 2 separate occasions before, and yeah, that burned me out a little bit. But certainly the first time I tried doing that was when I was only using 1 memory palace, so of course that fucks me up basically. I really like multi. I really enjoy doing it. It's my like second favorite event basically after 5x5. But it does take like kind of time and effort to practice. You know, like you have to set aside at least like an hour and a half realistically. You know, to include like setup, scrambling. I always do the post-mortems afterwards. Well, one of which I've filmed and uploaded, and I'm sure I will do more of those at some point because I find them interesting, and I think hopefully other people will find them interesting as well. But yeah, it does just feel like a lot of effort, and a lot of the time during the day I don't have a good opportunity to do a multi because our house isn't super big. I don't have a desk in my bedroom, so all of the cubing I do, like I do downstairs in the living room with the living room table, and there's always stuff going on. Like my mum isn't working at the minute, so she's always at home. My dad works from home half the time, and my brother's home from uni now, so we literally have the whole family is like living here. So I don't really get that many opportunities where I wouldn't be disturbed or also disturbing anyone else. So I normally just do them at night, like once everyone else has gone to bed, like about around this time of night. To be honest, it's about half past midnight as I'm recording this, I believe. But it's very easy at this time of night to think, oh, I'm just too tired, or like tonight. To be fair, we went out to the pub to watch England's first football World Cup game, the Men's World Cup, and I had a couple of pints, which isn't that much, and I still feel completely fine. Closer to sober than tipsy, but at the same time, like I don't think doing a multi after having 2 pints is that good of an idea. And like I don't go out and drink that often, so I'm not using this as an excuse like regularly. But yeah, there are so many times where I sit down and just think, oh, I'm just a bit too tired, or like if I've done this right, even like a less than 10-minute video, I have to obviously record it, then edit it, render it, upload it, wait for it to upload. That takes a while, and by that point it's like sometimes it can get to like 1:30 before I've uploaded it, and at that point, like, I'm not starting a multi at like 2 a.m. That's bad. I'll start a multi at like half past midnight maybe. What I tend to do with multis these days, especially if I'm doing them around these videos, is if I have an opportunity to record a video during the day, like if I go out on a walk or something, or if I just have the chance to, then I'll record the video then, and then I'll be able to like edit it throughout the day and upload it and have it ready to be uploaded around midnight. So then I can just upload it and then just get straight on with the multi. So that's what I will try and do more, but also I do just need to do more multis. So I think probably what I might end up doing on a couple of occasions is just recording a video, not editing it, just like uploading the raw file to YouTube and just dealing with it being slightly quiet and also unedited, because I just can't be bothered, and I need the time to put to better use elsewhere. So yeah. But yeah, going back to the theme of this video, there are so many other things that I've started and definitely want to do, but just like keep putting off. So for example, a couple of things I've talked about on this channel before: my watch later playlists. There's so many videos in there, things that I do want to watch, otherwise like I wouldn't have added them to the watch later playlist. But like every time I sit down to have lunch or whatever, I think, oh, I'll watch something. And there are so many times where I think, oh, I just don't feel like watching anything from the watch later, I'll just look for something else or something like that. And yeah, just things like that I just keep putting off for no real reason. And it's the same thing with the music as well, my music playlists. If there's a lot of the time where I get a bit bored of listening to videos in the background, if I've been doing that for a while all day, especially if it's like a few videos in a row from the same channel, then I'll think, oh, okay, I'll just listen to some music for a bit. But if I listen to some music, I always think, oh, well, I could be working my way through my music artists, like the back catalogue list, but I'm not doing that. I could be doing it, but I'm not. And like, why am I putting this off? Because it's something that I want to do, because I want to be able to listen to all this other music that I've from artists that I like or from artists that I've heard good things about, and then make all the playlists from as well. But yeah, there's just so many instances like that. So yeah, like I said, I'm not aware that I have ADHD or anything like that, and I don't want to self-diagnose because I know I can very, very possibly be wrong. And certainly I know at least a couple of other people who have thought they've had whether it's ADHD or OCD or autism or anything like that, any kind of mental health conditions. They've thought they've had things like that, and have gone to doctors or whoever to see if they can get diagnosed and see if it is what they think it is, and it's turned out it's something different. And they there is something, they do have some kind of condition, but it just happened to manifest itself in a slightly different way or whatever, or in a way that looks similar to something else, but it actually isn't something else. So yeah, like I said, I've got no idea what's what's going on. There's definitely something going on in my head. I just don't know what it is. To be honest, at this point, I am getting a bit better at dealing with stuff. Like, I don't have any academic work at the minute that's like taking up most of my time and all of that. But if there's stuff that I'm putting off, I'm trying to get better at saying to myself, okay, let's actually just sit down and do it, even if it's like however many minutes per day. Like, not that much. It doesn't have to be that much. Like the vlogs, for example, I've still still not actually edited any of them yet, and I am running out of time if I want to make the 3-year deadline for the most urgent one. Yeah, maybe I'll get started on that. I don't know. Who knows at this point? So yeah, I'll carry that hope forward into tomorrow. But as I have done for the last like nearly 3 years, I don't think it's going to go anywhere yet. I'm not saying it won't. Obviously, I will get around to it eventually. I just don't know when that will be, because I just put stuff off even if I want to do it. And I'm getting better. I'm getting there, I promise. Yeah, I've also been putting off ending this video for some reason. I don't know why. I just like talking. But yeah, that's about it. I'll see you tomorrow.